Greetings everyone, this is Connor from DagoraTV, and in this video we're going to be talking about the possible leaked letter from Bethesda that could possibly confirm The Elder Scrolls 6. Okay, so if you've been in and around the Elder Scrolls community for the last couple of weeks on the subreddit page or on, possible YouTube channels or anything like that, you would have seen that this letter has been floating around that's probably come around at the time of E3 2014, before that, and in May 2014, telling Bethesda employees of words not to say or phrases not to speak because they're not ready to announce certain projects yet. And this letter has been disputed whether it's real or fake, but first I'll talk about what the letter entails before we actually go into it. So, this is 2014, by the way, so this is 2 E3s ago, and the employees were not allowed to say these words, as you see on the letter on the screen right now. It says Fallout, Fallout Nuka World, Boston Project, Elder Scrolls 6, and Project Greenheart. So as you can see, the first three are Fallout, with Fallout obviously being, Fallout 4, the Boston Project obviously being where Fallout 4 was set, and Fallout Nuka World probably another DLC down the line, or it could have been Far Harbor and the name changed, who knows? That could have been the original name of the phone game, the Fallout Shelter. That could have been the original name that changed down the line. I mean, it's definitely, projects relevant to Fallout that was announced and released last year. So, the Elder Scrolls stuff. First of all, Elder Scrolls, obviously, the franchise, the Elder Scrolls 6 is the next major installment in the Elder Scrolls series, and Project Greenheart is what's got people a lot of excited. This could possibly mean, that the next game is set in Valenwood, if this letter is true, as, Greenheart, very much familiar with the Valenwood lore and the Valenwood landscape, or it could be, the name of the new IP, because there's been a lot of rumours flying around at the minute that there's going to be a new IP coming out of Bethesda, and that is, that could be what it is, but this letter's been heavily disputed by the community. It's been agreed upon by a lot of people, but it's also been denied categorically by Pete Hines, who said, the banners on the top are fake, this letter is fake, this letter was apparently leaked in 2014, and it's now come to fruition again now, and it's really been saying that, this has got really nothing to do with the projects that have got coming down the line. This isn't something that they would have sent out. They wouldn't have been so slack to do this. And I kind of agree, personally, because if you look at it, the first thing it says, on one of the things it says in there, is that Elder Scrolls, you cannot say the words Elder Scrolls at E3. And at that E3 2014, that was 2 months after the Elder Scrolls Online come out, and Elder Scrolls Online was discussed at E3 to quite a good length, to discuss about the launch and the stuff that's coming down the line from them. And, it was a major thing that happened just a couple of months before E3 2014, so it's obviously going to be discussed and was definitely on the mind of a lot of developers there, and a lot of fans asked questions about it, so it would have almost been impossible not to mention the phrase Elder Scrolls if they were saying Elder Scrolls Online. So that's the main reason why I don't think it's strictly true at this moment in time. But hell, let's say if it is, Project Greenheart, is definitely a good code name to have. The Boston Project is probably something that they had in-house at Fallout, Bethesda, before Fallout 4 came out, just to discuss and everything about the game, as like a code name, and, definitely a reasonable way to, to talk about it, and definitely a way to kind of keep it hidden. And, coming out there and going, Project Greenheart or Boston Project, we've definitely got a lot of people excited and giddy if it is true, because I'm going to be honest about this letter. Even though I think that it's probably fake, and I wouldn't say undeniably, there's definitely some facts that you could definitely say it could be true, in a couple of years down the line when Elder Scrolls 6 is announced and revealed, and it is in Valenwood, then we can look back at this and go, okay, this letter was probably real, but at this moment in time, of what I'm seeing, I find it unlikely. But reading this letter and seeing it come out, I'm not going to lie and say it didn't get me a little bit excited. It did get me kind of a little bit giddy of the possibility that it would be set in Valenwood, as, it's a very popular location, it's where I want the game to be set, and having that as a chance, because, Hammerfell has really been the one where everyone's kind of been getting crazy about, as we saw with, the trademark Redguard that has been renewed again this year. People are thinking, Hammerfell is the place that it's going to be. Well, this is really the first wave that we've had of, Project Greenheart. We've had the rumours of Elder Scrolls Argonia, which have been really wrong, let's be honest with you. Everyone's kind of removed them from their minds now because we're pretty sure that that's not the case. And Hammerfell with Redguard, and now we've got Valenwood as well added to the fray. So we've got, 3 locations that are possible. And to dispute the Redguard trademark thing that's been going on, a lot of people think that is going to be the next name of the Elder Scrolls game, when it's probably being used, to protect their intellectual property of the Elder Scrolls Adventures Redguard, which is a game that come out and is still able to be bought on GOG, and still able to be played and bought in certain areas. So that's probably why they did it, to protect their property so that they wouldn't be screwed over. And really, you know, a lot of businesses do this, and you know, this is something that, you know, Bethesda did. It was a point that keeps going getting bringing up before Skyrim came out. A few years before Skyrim, they trademarked Skyrim, and now they've trademarked Redguard. But that's an easy argument to make against it. That you know, the game's already come out with that title, and you know, it is possible that, you know, we could get another one. But I think that Project Greenheart is much more likely than the whole, you know, the whole Redguard situation, the whole name of that, because they've already had a game named that. You know, I'm not saying it's not going to be in Hammerfell, it probably will be, and it's between Hammerfell and Valewood at this point, in my opinion. That they're the two front runners, if I had to say. But all in all, I do think the trademark is something that we don't really have to really focus on too much, because it's just used, it's what businesses do nowadays, you know, to protect their property and protect, you know, what they've created, what their product is. So all in all, I doubt we'll hear anything about Elder Scrolls or Elder Scrolls 6. This isn't got get as anything, you know, closer to Elder Scrolls 6 than what people are kind of thinking. And even if this letter is true, you know, there maybe is a leak that it's maybe in development, but I think we're pretty sure that it's in development when Bethesda said that, you know, they're working on 3 brand new projects. And it, you know, this does line in it. You know, this does line with the 3 projects that they had. You know, the Fallout DLC, you know, the Elder Scrolls 6 and Project Greenheart. If Project Greenheart is the new IP, which I'm basically removing from my mind because I don't think that is the case. I think Project Greenheart would be relevant, you know, to the game being set in Valewood, but we'll have to see about that when time comes, when we get further closer and closer to an announcement. But we'll definitely be talking about some more Elder Scrolls news in the weeks to come when it's coming E3, and there's been more news coming out of focus on Elder Scrolls, which is going to be another video out either later today or tomorrow. So keep an eye out for that. There's going to be another Elder Scrolls video, and there's going to be a lot of videos coming out over the next week from me regarding E3, a hell of a lot of videos, so definitely keep your eye out on all of those. And yeah, we'll definitely be keeping an eye on all Elder Scrolls news coming out in the next week, because there's hopefully going to be, you know, bits of something, even if it's Elder Scrolls Legends, Elder Scrolls Online, we'll definitely be focusing on it for the franchise. And yeah, thanks a lot for watching. Comment below what you thought about, you know, this possible leak. Do you think it's true? Do you think it's, you know, could be heavily disputed? What's your thoughts on it? Did it get you excited? Because it did me, to be honest with you. Even though I think it's not true, it did make me kind of smile a little bit to myself, but hey. And make sure you subscribe, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Twitch, all that good stuff. Check out the Patreon and everything. And we'll see you guys later. Goodbye.